Welcome to the world of the forest's heavyweight champions, gorillas. If you ever thought King Kong was pure fiction, think again. Gorillas are the closest real-life version we've got. They're the largest primates on Earth, and honestly, no other primate dares mess with an angry gorilla. Imagine you're on a jungle hike and hear rustling in the bushes, then out steps a gentleman standing nearly 6 feet tall, weighing over 450 pounds, with a chest like a barrel and arms that look like they could hug a tree. That's a gorilla. Trust me, in that moment, you'll truly understand the phrase muscles speak louder than words. Personally, every time I study gorillas, I'm filled with both awe and affection. They're not just powerful, they're incredibly smart and surprisingly tender. Think of them as the strong, silent type with a heart of gold. Let me introduce you to the undisputed heavyweight champions of the primate world, gorillas. These majestic giants are not only the largest primates alive today, but also some of the most powerful creatures in the animal kingdom. Now, picture this. You're in the dense heart of an African rainforest, and through the mist appears a mountain of muscle covered in jet black fur. He beats his chest, lets out a low rumble, and gives you that unmistakable "don't mess with me" look. Trust me, when a gorilla is angry, nobody, and I mean no other primate, is foolish enough to challenge him. Not even a troop of rowdy chimpanzees would dare pick that fight. As someone who's spent years observing these animals in the wild, I can tell you they're not just strong, they're stunning. Think of them as nature's perfect blend of brawn and brains. And despite their fearsome power, most of the time, they're peaceful, family-oriented, and even a bit shy. Unless, of course, you step on their bad side. Alright, now let's talk about looks because not all gorillas are built the same. Just like how you can tell a Labrador from a German Shepherd, gorilla species have their own unique features once you know what to look for. Let's start with the eastern gorilla, the larger of the two. Imagine a bodybuilder wrapped in a black fur coat. These guys are big. We're talking up to 6 feet tall and weighing around 450 pounds. Their fur is darker, almost charcoal black, and they've got a broader chest, longer face, and an overall bulkier build. If you met one in a dark jungle path, your first thought might be, okay, that's King Kong's cousin. On the other hand, Western gorillas look a bit more, let's say, refined. They're slightly smaller, usually about 5 feet 7 inches to 5'9" tall and weighing in at around 370 pounds, but what they lack in size, they make up for in flair. Their fur is lighter, sometimes with a brownish or grayish tint, and here's the giveaway, they've got this reddish-brown patch of hair on their forehead, like a natural mohawk. Stylish, right? From a distance, they might all look like just gorillas, but once you know the visual clues, it's like spotting different dog breeds at the park. And personally, I've always had a soft spot for the Easterns. They've got that gentle giant vibe, while the Westerns always seem to have a bit more mischief in their eyes. Now let's zoom out and take a look at the map, because even though gorillas might look like jungle giants, where they live makes a big difference. First up, the eastern gorilla. These are true mountain dwellers. You'll find them high up in the misty forests of Congo, Rwanda, and Uganda, where the air is cool and the terrain is steep. If you've ever seen photos of gorillas lounging in the thick fog of the Virunga Mountains, you were probably looking at an eastern. I actually hiked in that region once. Beautiful, but let me tell you, the altitude will remind you how out of shape you are real fast. Now slide west on the map, and you'll run into the home of the western gorilla, living in the tropical lowland forests of Congo, Gabon, Cameroon, and Nigeria. These guys prefer flatter, warmer landscapes, often near coastal regions. Picture dense, steamy rainforests with the sound of parrots overhead and the occasional monkey swinging by. That's western gorilla territory. And here's the wild part. Even though both species live in Central Africa, their habitats are separated by at least 700 miles of rivers, savannas, and places no gorilla wants to hike across. It's like two families living in the same country, but one's up in the mountains and the other's at the beach, and neither is planning a road trip anytime soon. Personally, I love how this distance has shaped them into such distinct characters. Just goes to show, even among gorillas, geography makes a difference. Alright, time to talk about what's on the menu. And spoiler alert, it's not bananas all day, every day like the cartoons say. Both eastern and western gorillas are plant lovers through and through. Yep, these mighty primates are basically 400-pound vegetarians. But just like humans argue over salads versus smoothies, gorilla diets vary depending on where they live. Let's start with the Western gorilla. These guys are the fruit fanatics of the gorilla world. Around 67% of their diet is made up of juicy, sugary fruits. Imagine a big gorilla gently munching on a ripe fig with the patience of a yoga instructor. I once watched a Western silverback pick through a pile of fruit like a picky toddler. He literally tossed aside 3 bananas before settling on the perfect one. Relatable. Now over in the highlands, we have the mountain gorilla, a subspecies of the eastern. Life in the misty mountains doesn't offer much fruit, so they go heavy on leaves, stems, and bark. Their fruit intake is around 2%. That's not a typo. These guys are basically walking compost bins. As a leaf eater myself, salad fan, I totally respect their dedication to roughage. Overall, eastern gorillas lean toward leafy greens, while western gorillas chase the sweet stuff. It's all about what's available and what fuels their big, beautiful bodies in the jungle. Fun fact, despite their size, gorillas are super gentle eaters. No teeth baring or roaring at dinner. Just peaceful chewing and the occasional contented grunt. Honestly, kind of inspiring. Let's peek into a day in the life of a gorilla. It's honestly more organized than my own schedule. Gorillas live in tight-knit families, and at the heart of each group is the silverback, the big, burly adult male with a striking patch of silver fur on his back. Think of him as the wise grandpa, the fearless protector, and sometimes, the grumpy dad all rolled into one. He decides when the group eats, rests, or moves, and trust me, when a 400-pound silverback gets up to go, everybody follows. Their days are surprisingly chill. A typical gorilla group has set times for feeding, traveling, and napping. Yes, structured nap time, like preschool but in the jungle. Personally, I think humans could learn a thing or two from that routine. Now, Western gorillas are a bit more on the go. They'll walk about 0.7 miles a day, which might not sound like much, but for creatures that size in dense forest, it's a workout. Meanwhile, Eastern gorillas take it easy, less wandering, more lounging and munching leaves. But don't be fooled by their peaceful ways, things can get dramatic. When two silverbacks cross paths, especially if one's trying to steal the other's family, it's showdown time. Chest beating, roars, charging ... It's not just for show. Though most conflicts end in bluffing, real fights can happen, and let me tell you, they're intense. It's like heavyweight wrestling, but in the middle of a rainforest. Still, 90% of the time, they're just big softies, grooming each other and enjoying the forest vibes. Honestly, I wouldn't mind joining a troop myself, minus the leaf diet. Alright, let's address the jungle-sized question everyone secretly wonders. What if an eastern and a western gorilla went head-to-head in a brawl? Now, first off, let me be clear, gorillas are not out there looking for UFC-style matchups. They're mostly peaceful, gentle giants who'd rather munch on leaves than throw punches. But hey, for the sake of science and curiosity, let's imagine a hypothetical face-off. The western gorilla is the underdog in size, but don't count them out, they're quicker and more agile, and their strength-to-weight ratio is pretty impressive. Think of them as the nimble athlete, like a jungle gymnast with serious muscle. The eastern gorilla, on the other hand, is a brute force powerhouse. We're talking up to 450 pounds of solid muscle, with a broader chest and bulkier frame. It's like pitting a heavyweight lifter against a strong, scrappy middleweight. Speed, roughly equal, bite force. Also tied at a jaw-dropping 1,300 psi, that's strong enough to crush bamboo, coconuts, or, bones. Yikes. But when it comes down to raw power and sheer size, Eastern gorilla has the edge. In most matchups, say, 10 simulated bouts in our imaginary rainforest arena, the Eastern would walk away with the win 7 out of 10 times. Not because the Western isn't tough, but because physics doesn't lie. Mass plus muscle equals mayhem. Personally, I'd never want to see a real fight happen. They're way too majestic for that. But it's always fun to wonder who'd be king of the jungle. If only for a moment. Should you keep a gorilla as a pet? Let me stop you right there. No. Absolutely not. 1,000 times no. As much as we all love the idea of a giant fuzzy roommate who lounges around munching leaves and giving bear hugs, gorillas are not pets. First, these are wild animals with immense strength. A silverback can toss a full-grown human like a rag doll without breaking a sweat. Imagine trying to stop one from flipping your fridge because it ran out of bananas. Second, Gorillas have complex social structures and emotional needs. They thrive in the company of their troop, not in a human living room watching Netflix. Isolation from their kind can lead to stress, depression, and serious behavioral issues. You can't just replace a family of gorillas with a golden retriever and hope they'll be fine. And let's not forget, they're endangered. That means every gorilla belongs in the wild, helping their species survive, not in someone's backyard trying to fit into a hoodie for Instagram likes. So, should you keep a gorilla as a pet? Let me put it this way. If King Kong can't make it work in the city, neither can you. Trust me, as someone who's spent years watching these animals in the wild, gorillas are at their best when they're free, climbing trees, chest beating, and just being their majestic selves. If you enjoyed diving into the wild world of gorillas with me today, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an exciting adventure. Whether you're a wildlife lover, an animal enthusiast, or just curious about the wonders of the animal kingdom, this is the place to be. Let's explore, learn, and have fun together. Join the pack. See you in the next video.